If you've ever been told that you have tight glutes, then this is the perfect video for you. So today I'm going to go through a little bit more detail about what's going on at the back of the hip, some of the musculature that's going on there, and how by saying tight glutes is really pretty unhelpful, of course what we can do to start improving the mobility at the back of the hip. So the biggest problem that I have with the whole tight glutes label is that, well, we have 3 glute muscles and each of these muscles have different roles. Now, this becomes a little bit more complicated because each of the muscles also work synergistically together. So, for example, on the back here, we have our big main one, the glute max. Now, the glute max's main role is hip extension, which is to bring the leg, the femur, behind the hip. Okay, now it doesn't work alone. It's a main mover in hip extension, but the glute minimus and glute medius also have a bit of a role to play here as well. This is where it gets a little bit more convoluted. Let's go to the glute medius, which is on the side here, and it comes down onto the femur on the outside, almost in a triangle type shape. And its main role, although the other muscles also have a slight role to play in here, is hip adduction or femoral adduction. So basically when we take the leg away from the body, or adduction as it's also known as. And of course then we have the glute minimus. Now the glute minimus is a femoral external rotator. It runs laterally across the body like so, across the back of the pelvis like so. And its main role is to externally rotate the femur. Again, glute med and glute max also have a slight role to play in this, and that's where it gets a little bit more complicated. Now, just to chuck a little bit more on top of that, we also have other muscles and nerves back here, so we have a lot going on in a pretty cramped space. And so we have the gemelli muscles, which are also external rotators. We also have the piriformis, and of course we have the sciatic nerve that goes down both sides. Another reason why I really dislike the term tight glutes is that a lot of the time people self-diagnose. Now, you don't know whether the glutes are tight. You also don't know whether it's the result of a positional issue. So the glutes might be tight because the hips might be out of line, or the pelvis might be orientated in a manner that it shouldn't be. It also might be a different muscle. It might be the piriformis. It might be the gemelli muscles. It might be one of the glute muscles, but which one? So to self-diagnose just because you feel the sensation of tightness is a really, really tricky thing, because you will then build a lot of assumptions on tight glutes. You'll Google search it, you'll find stretches, probably stretches like the pigeon pose here or this one here. And all those are fine, but they're not really going to help you long term because you're not really getting to the root cause. So having said that, some of the root causes, and these are the 2 main ones, there are some other ones, but these are the 2 main ones that are going on. Now the first root cause is an orientation issue. And what I mean by orientation is when the pelvis as a whole moves. So again, for the sake of this video, we're going to assume that the pelvis that we're tight on both sides evenly and not one side more than the other. So orientation here is when pelvis tucks under, or what's known as a flat back type posture. So the femurs will be straight down and the pelvis tucks under. So everything on the back here is getting shorter and grips on even more as the pelvis is under in this orientation. That's again going to, because of the positional change, that's obviously going to shorten and concentrically orientate the muscles. The next issue we have is a relative positional change. So if the pelvis or the hips are in external rotation like so, then that will also cause a lot of tightness and a lot of shortening of the muscles, because the skeleton is in a position it should not be in. Now, the fix to all this is, of course, start getting the mobility back. So if we go after the orientation first, we're looking to bring the pelvis back into its more of a neutral position. When we go after the relative orientations, we're going to start looking to bring the pelvis back into IR and free up the space on the back of the pelvis. So the next couple of drills that I'm going to show you are absolutely perfect for creating a bit more IR within the pelvis, bit more IR than the hips, and of course a lot more movement in the back here so that you can then move freely. Hook lying bridge. Lying flat on your back with your toes lifted, place a foam roller in between your knees. Now pull your heels back towards your bum just a little bit to switch on the hamstrings, and notice that your lower back will flatten into the floor. Breathe in through the nose and then fully exhale through the mouth as you reach the hands forward. Each time you do this, you'll feel the oblique muscles on the sides by the ribs switch on. Keep that connection to the obliques as you breathe in through the nose and repeat 5 times. Adductor pull back in a 90-90 position. So place your feet flat against the wall and have your knees in line with your feet and your hips in line with your knees in a 90-90 position. Put a roller in between your legs, and as you breathe in through the nose, fully exhale out from the mouth as you pull the top left hip backwards. Each time you do this, you notice the inside thigh switching on. 90-90 knee lifts. In a 90-90 position with your feet flat against the wall, make sure your top knee is lifted and pelvis is tucked under so you connect with the right hand side of the glutes. Now as you breathe out, I want you to lift the bottom knee up towards the top knee without the top knee dropping. Each time you do this, you'll feel the inside thigh switching on and activating on each rep. Adductor squeezes. So in your 90-90 position here, tuck the pelvis under with the foam roller in between the knees and pull back just about 50%. Now as you breathe in, fully exhale through the mouth and then gently squeeze on the roller, again activating the inside thighs on each out breath. Only squeeze till about 50% effort, releasing on the inhale but staying connected, fully exhaling, 50% squeeze. I really hope this video has given you a lot of understanding and a bit more context as to what's going on. And of course, I know these drills are going to be really helpful for helping you to get that range of movement back within the pelvis. Give these a try and you'll really start noticing the difference within the back of the pelvis, and you start moving much more freely with a lot less pain in the back of the hips. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.